very much for tuning into this tutorial. Now in this tutorial, we're going to talk about the kitty cut, which is the evolution of the butterfly cut from 2023 going into 2024. But in a nutshell, it's effectively the same haircut. I'm going to just show you a very quick and effective way of cutting deep shape into anyone's around their face, anyone's hair type, anyone's hair texture. Obviously, one thing to bear in mind, if you're going to do this haircut on very, very curly hair types, it's going to spring up. It's going to be very, very stacked around the cheeks. So you want to be very mindful about doing this particular technique on curlier hair textures unless they're going to be wearing it straightened. This one really works very well with hair with good texture. It gives a lot of movement to straighter hair types. It's a very, very versatile haircut. It's one that actually probably has been around for a fairly long time in terms of trend. It's kind of a softer version of the wolf cut. It's a softer version of the shag. It's kind of more grown out and loose and more wearable and easy for people to style and wear on a day-to-day basis. Obviously those wolf cuts and shags are all graduated haircuts. This is another graduated haircut, just comes in a different form. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Let's jump straight in, and if you do enjoy it, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and let me know down in the comment section how you feel about this haircut and how you feel about the evolution of trends, because I have got a trends video coming out very, very soon. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to go about this particular new 24 trend. Some of you may or may not love the new terminologies of each and every year, a new trend coming out, but I think the clients become quite attached to them, and they like the terminology shag, pixie cut, all these terminologies, wolf cut, all these, because they're very descriptive and they're more likely to get what they want. So I always think it's good to stay ahead of these terms because they do offer up the opportunity for people to be very precise about what they want and you to understand what they want without necessarily bringing pictures, etc. Because not everyone brings pictures, and some stylists don't like pictures. I never really understand that when that happens, but that is the case in some instances. So what we're going to do is section off from just pretty much the highest point of the head to the back of the ear for the first section. Now, you could do this in sections, but a bit like the wolf cut or a bit like a shag, you can also take on quite a lot of the hair in one go. So what we need to do is determine exactly where we want the shortest point to fall from. Now, with the butterfly cut, it was very fringe orientated. It was more of just a sort of fringe area, very thick, very heavy, very dense. This is going to be softer, lighter. A lot of the trends that we're going to see in 24 are going to be more natural, more loose, more easy to wear, and lower maintenance. That is a fact. Obviously, the whole world is reeling from inflation, increases, and etc., etc. So we're going to definitely see a trend towards low maintenance, lived-in naturals, and it's not going to be any different for the haircuts. So what we're going to do is pick up this section. We're going to push the section forward. So we've got our section from the highest point of the head down to the back of the ear. We've scooped it all up, and we're going to push the section forward towards the face. We're going to come behind our client, and we're going to find our length, our desired length. So in this particular instance, I'm going to come kind of lip line level. So we can drop it down, have a measure up, lift it, so we can then have a point of reference. And we're going to twist the section. So we've now got a horizontal plane, okay, and we're going to come in at the point we decided, and we're going to cut just with the shank of the scissor. That's the heel here, using the shank of the scissor, and hopefully you can see that as I cut through that section, and I'm aiming towards the opposite corner. So when we look at the section of hair we've just cut, it gets progressively less hair from more hair. So it's like a diagonal line. Okay, so let's see if we can show you that in a bit more detail now. If I angle my fingers, there's our shortest point, just about there. Okay, and our longest point is just about here. So we've taken off some of this corner at the front here. So we've now got some nice shape that's going to sit around that lip line level. So it's really important to remember that this is a great style for lots and lots of different lengths, whether it's a lob or super long, because we can retain all of the length of the client's hair when doing this technique. And we don't have to layer the back. We can. And if you'd like to see how we layer the back, please let me know in the comment section and I'll make a separate video on how to connect the back to the front. But in a lot of instances, lots of people don't want the maintenance, especially if they've got quite curly hair or wavy hair, of having lots of layers in the back. I try and avoid doing too much layering on curly hair clients that want to control their hair, because obviously the more you layer it, the more it expands, the bigger it gets. So that's something to bear in mind. So what we're going to do is do that exact process now on the opposite side. Now this is going to be a trickier side for the righties, and the left side is trickier for the lefties. But nevertheless, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to pull all the hair forward, okay, like so. And we're going to hold all the hair that sits kind of above the parietal ridge. This is the parietal ridge here. Runs along the side of the head. It's the bone that curves away from the top of the ear. Okay, we're going to come in from the front. We're going to bring ourselves square to our client now. So we were behind before, now we're in front. We're going to pick up our shortest piece of hair. Now, because we've got a side parting, can be done in a side parting, left, right, or in the middle. What we need to do is to balance the shape. This hair has got less distance to travel because it's on the side, whereas this side's got a little bit more distance to travel. Okay, so if we cut them the same length, they won't be even. Okay, so what we need to do is make allowances for that, bearing in mind this hair is going to travel about an inch further. So we need to come an inch past our short side, which is about here. Okay, and then you can probably going to get a better look. We're going to hold the hair straight out from the head, elevation horizontal. Okay, pick up our guide section, hold it about there. We're going to cut from there. We're going to come in with our scissors now angled towards this corner. We're aiming down here. Okay, we're going to have to do this in two sections, remember, because this is going to be a lot more hair, because we're cutting now from a side that's got more hair on it because of the parting. Okay, so again, we've got a shorter piece of hair and a longer piece of hair. That's why it's graduation, guys. That's why it's short to long. It's graduation. Whenever you cut anything short to long, you're graduating. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing now, but we're going to just connect where we finished off. So we're just going to pick up that last bit of hair here, and we're going to connect in from where we finished off into the actual corner, and we can just simply come in and just take that piece of hair off, and then that will connect into the perimeter length down here. Okay, and then we'll have a nice bit of shape coming through, okay, from that side, and we'll have even shape on both sides because we allowed for that hair to live here. Okay, so then when we visually look at it and it's in the parting, we'll have even balance throughout the shape. So what I'm going to do is blow dry now, and then you're going to come and see it once it's all blow dried. I'm going to blow dry it with a bit of movement, just a little soft flick in it, and then I'll show you how you can personalize and refine the technique. So before we do any refining work or any personalizing, we can see that actually here we've got like a nice soft movement coming off the lip areas as we described in the cutting phase. You know, we get this movement bending round and it creates like a sort of soft, like a large fringe, but softer than the butterfly cut, because the butterfly cut was very deep and strong, and obviously, you know, kind of a more graphic shape within the hair, but this is softer. And then you've got these kind of layers that we created by taking off that front corner, blending through in exactly the same way that the fringe does, kind of coming down into the length. Flip this section forward and then just come in and just point cut our way down towards the end. So we're just taking that section and we're just elevating up, and that's to make sure that we retain all the weight that we created in the perimeter. We're not losing any of the length, but we are creating a little bit more of a lived in, softer feel to the hair. We could elevate even higher just to even ensure that we're getting no more. We just want to find our shortest point, and we're just gently point cutting into the shape. The other thing we can do is come behind, and we can really see the angle from behind. We've got the shortest point here going much, much longer. Okay, so we can elevate it up and we can come in and we can just use the scissor to kind of chip into the hair to remove some of the bulk from that section. And that will just give it a little bit more room to kind of float and give it a little bit more softness to the shape. And you can see how that's loosened up that area already. Dependent on the thickness of the perimeter will depend on how deep down you want to go with that technique. I would say that in most cases, I don't want to eat too much into the corner of someone's hair, but you can just sort of softly work into the shape just like that. And that is the corner of the bottom of the hair down here. I don't know if you can see that from the angle of the camera, but that is the perimeter length. So we have to be a little bit mindful of overworking that and giving it too much texture and movement and thinning it out too much. Okay, and then do exactly the same thing on the opposite side, working down just like exactly like I did previously, kind of an inch and a half back from the hairline, diagonally backwards to the top of the ear. And I've just put some product in this. This is why it's a bit grippy. I used a styling mousse from Redken, so it's just giving it a little bit of hold. But that's nice because that's going to mean that our blow dries will last. It's always good to use a product with a little bit of hold, even if you are your clients don't love volume or lots of it really helps to hold the bend in the hair. When you bend the ends, it's not always about creating tons and tons of volume. It can always be about holding the shape that you've created. And in this instance, I've blow dried it with that soft movement in it. And that's just giving it that kind of bend in the hair. We can work that as much as you like. Now remember, I didn't connect the front to the back. So it's not rocket science, but if you want to see it in another episode, we can make another episode about layering on top of this haircut. But I really want to just focus this episode on just the shaping around the front. And if you simply wanted to connect the front into the back, what you do is you take a vertical section straight down the middle, and then you slice from the longest point up towards the ceiling, and that will create long layers in the back, and you simply pivot from that point around the head going around. But like I said, I'll make a full tutorial on that. Let me know in the comment section if that would be interesting to you. I'll bring it out as soon as some people comment. But that's it for this kitty cut, which is obviously an extension of the butterfly cut from last year. I don't know what names they'll come up with for things next, but I do love the way that it kind of cascades down and it gives little natural peaks and flicks in the hair. And it's a really soft, easy to wear style. Suits a lot of hair types, but like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, just be mindful if the hair's very curly and you don't want all of that kind of hair bunching up around their cheeks. And in this area, it's kind of best reserved for hair textures that are on the wavier side rather than heading into very curly. You can cut this on very curly and it will create a lot of shape, but it's not going to necessarily sit like that. It's going to have a whole different look to it. So that's something to bear in mind. Maybe I'll do a video with this same haircut on curly hair so that you can see the differences and how they will, play out differently on different hair textures. Again, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comment section. I really want to hear from everybody in 2024. What videos do you want me to make? What videos do you want to see? The ones that get voted for the most, or even if they're not voted for the most, and I'm particularly interested in the subject, I will make the video. So please comment down below. Let me know what you want me to make you in 2024. I'm back with a bang. I cannot wait to produce more videos. Oh, it feels so good just to want to make these videos again. Anyway, that's enough of me. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. See you soon.